Out of nowhere, Universal CityWalk Hollywood opened to the public on Wednesday, June 10th. After months of being closed to the COVID 19 pandemic, Universal has decided to begin a phased reopening of its shopping and dining district next to the main theme park, Universal Studios Hollywood. Hi everyone, Theme Park Tracker here with a look into CityWalk and the new procedures, precautions, and what is open at this time. First off, parking is absolutely free. They hand you a normal receipt to mark where you park, but for this transitional period, parking to go into CityWalk is free. Inside the structure, they follow the procedures at Universal Orlando, where every other parking space is coned off. This allows for proper social distancing when getting out of your car. When the structure fills up, they will then remove the cones and have the cars fill in those empty spots, with the idea that two different parties of guests won't be returning to their car at the exact same time after their visit. As of now, only the Jurassic parking structure is open due to the single temperature checkpoint being used at the bottom of this structure, which we'll look at in a bit. I don't know how it will work for the ET and Curious George parking lots because each of those has its own entrance. I'm sure when those are in use, most likely when the theme park reopens, those will have their own temperature check stations. Also, I don't know how they were checking the guests that took the tram up the hill from the metro station. Anyways, the second story entrance to CityWalk from floor 3 and 4 were closed off, so all guests would travel down to the temperature check on the first floor. Here, they led you along a path with this temporary barricade queue where you wait for a temperature check station to open. They have social distancing markers on the ground, information boards, hand sanitizing pumps, and many team members to ensure everything goes smoothly. The actual temperature scan was quick and painless. It was simply a device they held up to your forehead that checks your temperature that takes less than 5 seconds. They had 2 stations, which what looks like the capacity for 6 total based on the tables they have set up here, so if things get really busy. Inside CityWalk on the path, they had markers that told you which direction to walk, and in front of each restaurant and shop, they had a queue placed outside with markers placed 6 feet apart. Signs with information on the new procedures and precautions guests must adhere to were placed in frequent spots along the CityWalk walkways. Hand sanitizing stations were also conveniently placed at these points, along with many other areas. The hand sanitizing pumps were at easily identifiable areas that weren't hiding in any corners or places that guests couldn't see them. Moving in front of the park to where the spinning Universal Globe is and the archway, you're only allowed to go up to this point, as the silver fences block the entire ticket area. It's only a matter of time before the park reopens, but we still don't have an opening date. I'm sure it will come soon, especially after Disneyland just announced a proposed reopening of July 17th, pending government approval. Disneyland and Universal lie in different counties, which will have different steps to reopening. Universal CityWalk being open is a step towards full reopening, like what happened at Universal Orlando Resort. Some experiences will be missing or altered at opening, like character meet and greets, parades, shows, and more that require large gatherings or close contact with others. Throughout the rest of CityWalk, not much is open at the moment. I'm sure due to the somewhat unexpected reopening of CityWalk, many venues weren't quite ready to open. Universal's first-party vendors like Antojitos, Viva Italian Kitchen, and the Universal Store weren't open yet. Most of the third-party vendors were. The locations that were open during this visit, from what I could tell, were Starbucks, Blaze Pizza, Crepe Cafe, Buca di Beppo, Johnny Rockets, Voodoo Donuts, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC. Everything else was closed for now and will most likely reopen in the coming days. I know Vivo Italian Kitchen had a sign posted on their front entrance that stated they would reopen on June 19th. Locations have to get their staff back together and prep their locations for the new guidelines. I do find it strange how Universal gave no announcement to the CityWalk reopening. It was just rumors and calling the locations on the phone the day prior that confirmed it was opening. This was probably done to reduce the amount of people showing up and spread out the amount of people visiting over the next couple of days. Universal Cinema is closed but could reopen soon, with the state allowing counties to reopen movie theaters. As of now, it remains closed. It's also unclear if this venue will remain operated by AMC due to the recent news of AMC not showing any Universal movies after the Trolls World Tour home release, which is a whole nother story to talk about. Right next to that is an example of the spaced out tables for Blaze Pizza and Starbucks. The silver barricades prevent guests on the main walkway from getting too close to those eating. Universal should consider using more of the empty space in front of the movie theater and stage for more tables. And the upper portion of CityWalk also has reduced and spaced out seating. Last thing I want to cover is the construction happening on CityWalk. It's still the same 3 projects from when the park closed back in March. First off is the new NBC Sports Grill, which is replacing the Tony Roma's and Howl at the Moon restaurants. Notice how since we've last been here, a giant screen has been placed in front of the building, showing sports-related content and could be used for other things. Construction on the building looks mostly the same. I wasn't able to get a good view inside, and the windows to the right of the escalator have been blocked. The top deck around the former Howl at the Moon locations has its windows blocked off as well. What is new is the construction below facing the parking lot. This looks like an outdoor seating area for the venue. Also, here's the tram that I mentioned earlier taking guests from the metro station to CityWalk and back, which has every other row of seats roped off for social distancing. Next project, which appears to be wrapping up, is the It's Sugar building and the offices right above. The exterior portion was redone and the pillars up front are finished. Lastly, the new Toothsome Chocolate Emporium restaurant is coming along. This is replacing the Hard Rock Cafe. All mentions of Hard Rock have been removed and the building is slowly being stripped away of its original design. This project is going to be an exciting one to watch because of the high level of theming involved with the restaurant and popularity of it in CityWalk Orlando. Well, that just about does it for this video covering the opening of CityWalk after these few months. We still have a ways to go before an opening for the main theme park is announced, but again, with Disneyland just proposing their July 17th date, we shouldn't be too far from Universal saying something. LA County, which Universal resides in, is about to enter the early stages of Phase 3 for reopening, which includes gyms, campgrounds, museums, and other recreational activities. Theme parks are in Phase 3, but in the later stages. Only time will tell for the reopening of these theme parks, and again, these phased openings like CityWalk are a step towards full reopening. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe to the channel for more updates on the happenings at SoCal theme parks.